Okay, well the video cut off, so I went ahead and jumped ahead and primed all of the filters. You saw what I did on the first one, I did the second one. These are secondary filters that go inside of the drinking water area. They are primed just by setting the rubber grommet on top. And what did I do with it? Somewhere here. Here it is. You basically just set the rubber grommet on top of it, touch it up to the bottom of your filter, and you hold it there until, your water line, you hold it there until you see some black charcoal sediment come out of the bottom. Then you flip it over and you put the rubber washer on the other side of it and repeat it until water starts pouring out. So all of these have been primed and they're ready to install. Like I said earlier, I went ahead and did some work here on the lid for the bottom, and I did not have any drill bits here other than a spade bit that was 3/4. And I took that spade bit and I just basically marked where I wanted it. I drilled down until it barely touched the paddle, and I just kind of wallowed it out until it was the right size for the end of the threaded portion of the black filters. Same thing here. You can see I've got the holes ready, and now that the filters are primed, it is time to go ahead and place them into the bucket. Now this is a food grade bucket, heavy duty, BPA free. I got these from Lowe's, and the way that they go in, when you first get them, these filters, they have this little wing nut screw on it, or nut. So you got to take those off, obviously. That's going to block you from putting it in. Get this off here. I know it's exciting watching that happen one-handed. There is a separate black rubber washer that come on these, and these are for the seat against the bottom of the bucket. And now that this is primed, I'm going to go ahead and place that into the first hole. And I got the holes a little tight, so they thread pretty easily, and I don't want to force these, so I'm just going to go ahead and thread it in until it seats on that washer. Okay, it's pretty much there now. And then I'll go ahead and install the second one. Oh, that one went right down. Great. So here they are. They're set. They're in. They're not going to fall out because of how tight that hole is that I put there. So I feel pretty comfortable with going ahead and taking this and turning it upside down and not worrying about the filters falling out. Watch the filters fall out because I said it wouldn't. Now I'm going to take the bucket and I'm going to place it here and line it up with my filters, and hopefully I can get them to seat. I may have to pause. Okay, I paused the recording there for a second and I got the lid on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take the wing nuts and put them back on. Now in some berkey setups, they just have these two filters. You want to get this on here, you don't want to crank on it, you just want to get it snug, or hand tight as some people like to say. There we go, it's nice and tight. Now some berkeys are just that's it, just the black filters, and when they're setting in the bucket that receives the water just drops out of this, and that's that. But these came with this secondary filter, and it fits right on the end. You can tell the top by the lip there. So once it's on, you put it on and you just snug it up to that nut. There's that one. And there's the second one. You just want to snug it up. And that's basically your secondary filters in place. Now we come over here and we take, this is the water one that we want. And basically this one will invert now and set right on top of this one. But before we can do that, we need to put in a water spigot. And give me 1 second. Okay, we're back. I have a 3/4 inch spade bit on my impact. And basically what I'm going to do is come up about an inch, maybe 1.25 inches. And I'm going to drill a hole into the side of the bottom bucket. And this is going to be where the water spigot sits. So give me 1 second. All right. Now, I don't know if you visual people are going to have a hard time with not seeing me do that, but I had to be able to hold the bucket at the same time or I would not have been able to drill this. Okay, so you're basically going to clean up the hole. And you can hear little Tulsi in the background. Let me see here. I got this little multi-knife. I'm going to pull out the blade on it. And I'm going to clean this just a bit. So I'm going to pause this and then I'll be right back. Alright, so there we go. I've cleaned up a bit around the edges with a sharp knife. Just kind of scraped it and took any of the burrs and stuff off. Now this is the water spigot that came. All these little plastic bags. I should have just taken everything out. There we go. So here we have a spigot. And we have this little clear silicone seal. And that goes right onto the end of the threaded spigot. This is pretty hard one-handed. Give me 1 second here. Little baby Tulsi's been plagued with some indigestion lately. And it's hard to get her in a good position where she's comfortable. So you can see there how it has kind of a bit of a chamfer. And obviously that's to, once you put it into the hole, that seats into that hole really well. Now, there's also a matching one that goes on the opposite side. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in. I'm going to pause this, put this in, and put the back washer in, and then come back and show you. Alright, so here we are. You can see down here that the end of the threaded piece on the back side of the spigot is in. It has the rubber grommet, and then I'm going to go ahead and put the threaded nut on that holds everything in place. And this is plastic, so you guys really don't want to crank on this to the point where it's going to strip out the threading. You just want to kind of get it hand tight and maybe just a 1/4 turn more. That kind of turned with it, so I'm going to turn it back a little bit, and I can feel how tight it is, and it's really nice and snug. So there we go. That is the bottom portion. Spigot's in place. You don't ever want to put these right directly at the bottom. Sometimes if these filters fail and some of the charcoal solution gets into it, it can settle at the bottom. It's not harmful. It's going to be gross. The texture of it's going to be really nasty when you drink, and it'll probably have that charcoaly taste, but it's not going to hurt you. So basically that's it. This one's here. That's ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and take this and turn it upside down and set it in here really slow. Now, you don't have to, these have clipping seals on them, so you can literally push these. If anybody's ever used a 5-gallon bucket before in a lid, you know that you push those lids and they clip down onto it. Now you don't have to do that. If you want to, it's up to you. If you don't, that's also up to you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do its first fill and then flush. So I'll fill this up to about right here. I'll let that entire amount drip down into the bottom portion. And then once that's done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this back off. Then I'm going to rinse this out, pour this out and rinse it out, because some of that charcoal sediment for sure is going to fall out of the filters and it's going to land in the bottom. And obviously you don't want to do that. Now you may have to do this once or twice. Oh, definitely once, but you may have to do it twice. It just depends. So basically that's it. That is a homemade 5-gallon bucket berkey filter. The filters were about 65 bucks on eBay for all 4 of them. And I'll try to put that in the link. And I will go ahead and do my first flush. And then I'll come back and do a secondary video of the water coming out clean. All right.